So was Michael Cohen coached? Sources say he met with Adam Schiff's staff for more than 10 hours before the House Oversight Committee hearing. Congressman Jim Jordan grilled Cohen about it in that hearing, and the congressman joins me now. Good evening, Congressman.
Good to be with you, Judge.
You know, normally what happens is you have a witness, whether it's in a courtroom or whether it's before Congress, you get to talk to him, the party presenting him, and then the other side gets to talk to him. Now, before we even get into the 10-hour thing, did you guys ever talk to Cohen?
No, our staff talked to Lanny Davis, his lawyer. We asked to talk to him, Judge. We asked for a deposition, a transcribed interview. They wouldn't do that. The Democrats wouldn't do that. They just chose not to. Well, I mean, why should they? If you don't have to let one team have a fair shake and you can go meet with him for 10 hours, why would you do that? We didn't know they were doing that, but that's exactly what they did. We asked for it. They didn't provide it. Here's the big irony, though. You would think after 10 hours of coaching, he wouldn't come in front of Congress and lie again. But he did. We think at least 8 times, and 2 of them we know for sure. Well, we know when he said he didn't want to go to work at the White House, we know that's a lie. And we know that he actively sought a pardon. So that's why Congressman Meadows and I have sent letters to the Justice Department talking about, look, this guy perjured himself on the stand and you need to investigate.
Well, but what are the sanctions? Is there a sanction? If Adam Schiff and his crew talk to this guy for 10 hours, he doesn't get it. And I prepped witnesses in my career. Yeah. I mean, you don't need 10 hours. I don't think I've ever spent 10 hours unless it was a kid.
Yeah, and Judge, I want to be clear. Look, you meet with witnesses all the time. That's normal for Congress. I get that. But not like this. Normally the meeting is maybe a half-hour meeting. Here's where you're going to report. We may talk about a few things. It's a shorter meeting, but this was 4 trips, at least what's been reported. 4 trips, it looks like, to New York, over 10 hours of actually seeing. That is much more than the normal meeting. Here's how it's going to work. Here's what the subject matter is going to be. This is coaching and prepping. And frankly, my guess is they not only did that, they probably saw these exhibits, the documents that Mr. Cohen unveiled in our. My guess is the Democrats saw that long before we did on the morning of the hearing.
What is this sanction? My question is, I'm always asking about consequences. What is this sanction? Is there any sanction? Should it be precluded? Should it have been precluded from testifying because you didn't have access to him?
No. The sanction, remember what happened 2 years ago. The sanction a couple years ago was Devin Nunes stepped down as chairman for a while.
I remember that, yep.
So that was a self-imposed kind of sanction from Chairman Nunes. I didn't think he needed to, but he did. Now it seems like it's a little bit hypocritical that Mr. Schiff, who, oh, by the way, met with Glenn Simpson this summer out in Colorado, and now we learn this, it's a little hypocritical that that's not the same thing. Of course, that's a call for him and the committee. That's a call for the Speaker Pelosi. But it seems a little hypocritical that they demanded Devin do it, and now now they're not even talking about that.
We have like 10 seconds. You know what is really frustrating is that Paul Ryan didn't give you guys the ability to subpoena all those bozos. Shame on him. Anyway.
I wish we'd have pushed harder much sooner, Judge, but we're pushing now.
How could you push harder? He's the leader.
Yeah, I know, but we still should have. Here's the thing, though. They brought their star witness who's going to prison in 2 months for lying to Congress. They brought him in front of Congress, and he lied again.
What a shock. Congressman Jim Jordan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Today, Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, running for president, of course, proposing a breakup of the big tech companies, Amazon, and, well, pretty much all the rest. Deirdre Bolton is here in the studio with the latest on this, and she's out there very aggressively.
She is very aggressive because not only is she complaining about big tech, but she actually has a how-to, step-by-step, this is what we would do. So I'll go through the 3 steps. She wants to apply new regulators to basically undo the mergers that we've seen or separate properties. So in other words, she wants to take Instagram and WhatsApp from Facebook. She wants to take Whole Foods away from Amazon. She wants to undo the Google Nest merger, which actually I was like, maybe Google's going to think that's a favor. But anyway, that's a different story. She wants to bar tech companies, and I feel like this is particularly focused on Amazon, from providing a marketplace and then also selling products on that same marketplace. Yeah. And then the third prong is essentially preventing these companies from sharing or selling third-party data.
Think about how much of a big deal this would be, say, for Facebook. I mean, who knows if anything like close to this will will ever happen, but that Instagram acquisition was a huge one. The WhatsApp, now just even with the news they announced this week, I mean, clearly those are huge strategic moves for
and
Facebook.
I think from a branding perspective, well, for all of them, it would be deadly, right? And we can't be too dismissive because remember when the EU went after Microsoft and declared Microsoft a monopoly, it took Microsoft about a decade to re-find its feet. And I think that's actually the interesting charge. So Elizabeth Warren is actually hosting a rally in Long Island City, Queens. You and I were both over there doing a lot of the reporting for Amazon and sort of being blocked more or less from setting up shop there. I reached out to Assemblymember Kim. You interviewed him. I had a conversation with him as well. He said he applauds Senator Warren. He said he has felt that big tech is monopolistic. It is hurting the democracy. It is hurting competition and hurting open markets. And I think on that hurting competition, that could actually garner, that's the part of the argument that I feel like is probably most dangerous for big tech, because NYU professor Scott Galloway, he's been on our air a lot. I asked him, I said, well, what do you think of this? And he said, I actually think this makes Warren the intellectual leader of the Democratic Party. And he said, Klobuchar, Sanders, a lot of people complain about big tech. She's coming with a plan of how to. Well,
it was interesting. Kim, who you mentioned, was an anti-Amazon guy. And I guess it does bring up the wider question for the whole, getting away from local politicians for a minute, to the wider Democratic field in 2020. So even in a hypothetical where Elizabeth Warren doesn't win, are these other Democratic candidates just, pretty much in agreement with her on this issue? I guess we'll see.
They're not. They have not been so extreme. They have not put out, this is actually how we would do it. But Senator Sanders and Senator Klobuchar, I mean, they've both been very vocal against big tech. So she's clearly not alone. But I think the voices that we've heard from the Democratic side so far have certainly been more left than center.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, we'll see what that does for the race. I mean, we're still a little bit of time away.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for the former vice president to make a decision, see if he's going to get in. So anyway, Deirdre, thank you. Good reporting on this.
Get back to the Republican rebellion against President Trump's national emergency declaration to get border funding. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul says the Supreme Court could overrule President Trump here and side with them. Rand Paul is saying the president is circumventing congressional spending powers, but will the Supreme Court rule that way? Is the president really circumventing their spending power? Or is the president, as we've been reporting, seeking to spend money already appropriated for exactly the same mission that Congress spelled out? Here's what we were first to show you months ago. U.S. Code 2808 says in the event of a declaration by the president of a national emergency, the president can spend the money already appropriated on construction projects done by the military. U.S. Code 284 says support for the Pentagon to fight drug trafficking and transnational organized crime. You can build fences and barriers there. Let's bring in Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun. Senator, this is a heck of a fight happening in Capitol Hill. What do you think? Who's got the stronger case?
Well, I think in this case, I listened to what Rand had to say, and I think he's taken a kind of philosophical approach to it. I think it's clear that the president, when he ran in 2016, border security was at the top of the heap when it comes to what he wanted to do. And when it's like a cascade here, I don't think that's the case. I think that Rand and a few others, and myself, I had a little heartburn with an emergency declaration, but I also think it is an emergency, and it's a crisis on the southern border. Nothing that we vote on here is pure and simple. It's generally got several different variables involved. In this case, I think Rand's right in general. We've probably given a lot of power to the executive branch over time. That means we need to be more assertive.
Yeah, but to your point, President Obama declared Libya a national emergency, used executive actions there to spend money. George W. Bush, after 9/11, declared national emergency, spent money there. I mean, the money has already been appropriated. That's the argument in support of President Trump,
exactly,
right?
Exactly my point, and that's why I'm going to be with the president on it. I think the unique thing about being a senator, everyone has a different angle that they approach it from. Rand, has got that, I share a little bit of that libertarian streak as well. But in this case, I think President Trump has made the case. Other presidents have done it. all the Democrats were for a lot more than what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be with the president on this one, and I think, Rand, that's his opinion. I think they're going to be more with the president, than against that. And I think, if it gets vetoed, the veto won't be overridden. So
yeah, but Blumenthal and other Democrats are saying he's the first president to do this. The money has been appropriated for other things, not really for the border wall. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a fight. Quickly, I want to
that's politics.
Yeah, understood. And now Nancy Pelosi is telling House Democrats to get ready to pass the DREAM Act. That's happening at the same time. Senator, I want to get your take. This is a big push for you. Switching gears, what's your plan for Congress to lower steep drug prices? Our viewers really care about that.
Well, all I can tell you is 10 years ago I took on the big health insurance companies myself in my own business, was very unhappy with the cascade of premium costs going up. I had to do something out of the box, and it wasn't easy at the time. And what I'm doing currently, leading here as a senator, is enough is enough. The healthcare industry, if it wants to be have any resemblance to what it's been up to this point, to where you can keep the best of it, it's going to have to get with it.
Well, what's your job? What's your plan? What are you going to do?
My plan is going to take 3 different processes to make drugs easier to get at lower prices, make the process transparent, and hold drug companies accountable where they try to thwart the process of a generic coming to market, where we can let drugs that are being manufactured in other countries at a much lower price come into this country, but mostly transparency, because the whole healthcare industry, especially drug companies, live in a shrouded environment that needs to change.
Yeah, it's a big lobbying power, too. Senator Braun, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.